What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dispatch, episode number 10. Can you believe I've been doing this for 10 weeks? It's a long time. Hoping to continue to do it for another 10 weeks, as long as I can. As long as you guys are watching and enjoying it. It's kind of a slower week. Not a ton to talk about. We have the big story in the just the title of this episode, the Texas Chainsaw thing with Glen Powell. So we'll talk about that a little later. But first off, let's jump right into this. We got our first look at Carl Urban as Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat 2. Yeah, I'm excited. Speaking of Glen Powell, I feel like people wanted Glen Powell for this role, which I can see why. But hey, he looks like Johnny Cage. I'm not the biggest Mortal Kombat fan as far as the games go. I think I might actually like the Mortal Kombat movies more than I actually spend time playing the games. I love the one from '95, and Annihilation is like not a good movie, but I really enjoy watching it. It's a fun ass time, and I have a ton of nostalgia for those. Let's be clear, I watched them a lot as a kid, and I thought the one from 2021, I think, the one that this is a sequel to, I thought it was good. I thought it was all right. The biggest problem was that they didn't actually do the tournament. That was the big problem for a lot of people. You don't actually see the tournament. So, looks like we're getting the tournament this time. I'll like that tweet because I agree with that. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's R-rated Mortal Kombat, which we had never gotten before, at least like theatrically. I mean, look at Jax, looks dope. He's got his metal arms. Liu Kang's here. Sonya. I'm excited, man. I'm a simple man, like this guy says. Mortal Kombat is dope. So, hopefully this one's even better. I'm excited. Oh, this is a big one. This is kind of a big one. Yeah, so Saw 11, it's 86th. We're not getting Saw 11. So, I seem to be an outlier in that I did not like Saw X. I thought it was like actively pretty bad. Yeah, just didn't like it. And, that's just me, obviously a lot of people did like it. So I would not ever try to say that we don't need more Saw movies, because they are, on some level, they're always fun to watch, regardless of the quality. So, and obviously, if enough people want it, who am I to say, anything against more? But who knows what the future is going to look like? Apparently, this was due to like a lot of like the producers and stuff, and the heads of the, I don't know, studio. Just couldn't agree on. I think it had to do with money and ego. So this iteration of Saw is dead in the water, and we'll likely never see Tobin Bell again as Jigsaw. So people kind of expect that if we do get more Saw, it'll be, like a full-on reboot, which I wouldn't real necessarily be opposed to. I think a full-on hard reboot could be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. So I don't know. I know a lot of people are upset about this, and I understand it, but even though I didn't like Saw X, I do think that the way that ends is a pretty nice little send off for Jigsaw, for Tobin Bell. So I think it's probably for the best, honestly. You know, he's got nothing left to prove. So, yeah, it sucks when ego and stuff gets in the way. So a couple weeks back, we were talking about how this Sergeant Rock movie, which is Sergeant Rock is a DC character whom I know nothing about, and I would be surprised if many other people did. Seems pretty niche, and there was speculation that Daniel Craig was going to play this role. That came out to be not true or just rumors, and now it looks as though Colin Farrell is being eyed to play this role from Luca Guadagnino. I should probably look into this because I'm reporting on this character. It's like 3 weeks in a row now. I have no clue who the hell Sergeant Rock is. Again, I'm guessing this is him right here. Looks just like a soldier dude. Is this real? Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about this whole thing. Like, I know they're probably referring to the fact that they're talking about Colin, but like, I don't even know. Is Sergeant Rock real? I'm assuming he is. I've never heard of this man. So that's cool. I'm still intrigued at the idea of a Luca Guadagnino DC movie. I just hope he doesn't get like caught up in that machine, and he never has time to. Excuse me, and he never has time to like do original movies. This is a little graphic that I actually was interested in. Because Pedro Pascal is a busy man. I don't know what this Freaky Tales is. This is the only one I don't even know what that is. But Last of Us Season 2, super excited. Celine Song's Materialists, excited as hell for that. Past Lives, like one of my favorite movies of the last decade. So Materialists looks quite different, but I'm sure it'll be dope. And then we got Fantastic Four, which I'm very curious about. I'll say that. Forgot he was in Ari Aster's Eddington, so like that'll be a dope collab. Super excited for more Ari Aster. And then he's got Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday, and The Mandalorian and Grogu, which I have no idea I don't even know what's going on with this show. I stopped watching it, so maybe I'll have to catch up for this movie. It looks like I have some time to do so. And then more Avengers. So what's cool about this is Pedro Pascal is doing the big budget, the Disney tentpole things, and then he's also doing what will undoubtedly be a very odd movie from Ari Aster. So he's working with actual filmmakers. He's working with Celine Song. He's working with fucking Ari Aster, and he's also doing the big ass, blockbuster movies. So good for him, man. I remember the first time I ever saw Pedro Pascal he was not an extra. He's like a borderline extra in a glorified extra, I should say, in Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 4. Glen Powell is the new Pedro Pascal. I guess. I don't know. They're both busy, that's for sure. So good for Pedro Pascal, man. Boy's come a long way, and he's earned it too. I mean, he's a great actor. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything I didn't like. I actually did watch this at work. This is the new teaser for Happy Gilmore 2, streaming July 25th on Netflix. I actually did watch this. I know I'm not I'm mostly not watching trailers, but for this, I figured, what the hell? It's Happy Gilmore. I watched this at work with a bunch of my coworkers. We're all big into. We all reference Adam Sandler comedies all the time. So this looks fun, man. It actually looks like Actually looks like it's got some of that. Yeah, Ben Stiller's back. Can't wait to see what this guy's been up to. The house, his grandma's house is still there, I guess. Obviously Shooter McGavin is back. So, I mean, the track record for these like legacy sequels is pretty low. Yeah, it's always a case of like, do we need this? Do we don't need this? It's too late, blah blah blah. And I mostly agree. And like I think of like Dumb and Dumber 2, that wasn't good. God, there's so many and I can't think of them right now. Why can't I think of any more? I don't know. I'm blanking. Let me know if you could think of any more of those like late stage comedy sequels, super late comedy sequels. So this could be very fun. Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Hi Jamie, by the way. How are you? Yeah, the Jay and Silent Bob reboot was bad. I'm sorry. I love Kevin Smith. I've actually met him before here in New Jersey. Been to the Quick Stop, been to the Secret Stash in Red Bank. Love Kevin Smith, but he doesn't have the juice anymore, I'm afraid. Well, I'm sorry to hear you weren't doing well, but I'm glad that you're doing better. Truly. Yeah, Super Troopers 2, exactly. There you go. Thank you for the I was totally blanking. Thank you guys. Let's see what else we get. Oh yeah, so I mentioned this earlier, Materialists in Pedro Pascal's resume. We got the trailer for it. I will not play it here for you guys. It looks like a 90s rom-com. Oh my god, Jamie, I'm so sorry. I know I did not hear this. I'm so sorry to hear that. Wow. That's awful. Damn. I'm sorry. I hope you're okay though. Yeah, so that's awesome. Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I hope there's no further complications or anything. Yeah, good. I'm glad you kicked its ass. Yeah, this movie looks like a 90s rom-com. like yeah, rom-com roots. I don't know, it just looks kind of nah, nope, not looking at that. Fucking Twitter, man. I don't know, looks good. I'm here for it. I'm gonna see anything Celine Song does. We got some news on a God of War series that's been greenlit at Prime Video for 2 seasons, not just one. And then they include this little anecdote here. Showrunner Ronald D. Moore said he couldn't figure out how to play the game. I'm not a gamer. Okay. I don't know why they ever feel the need to add that. It's always like anytime like a video game thing comes out, like I'm sure they asked Pedro Pascal this as well. Where they're like, if he's like playing Joel, right, and they're like, have you played the game? Like they're always like, I don't know. I feel like gamers really feel like it's important that the actors in this stuff have played the game, like, which it doesn't hurt, but I also don't think it's like necessary. So like, much less the showrunner. Like, I don't think everyone who works on a video game property needs to have played the game in order for them to be like qualified. Again, doesn't hurt, but as long as you're able to capture, as long as the writing can capture the essence of whatever game it is, then like the actors will follow suit. You know, everything else will fall into place if the writing is there. So, you know, like I'm sure they include this little quote here as like a little damning excerpt to kind of paint this guy in a bad light. But, you know, and I don't know who Ronald D. Moore is. I've never heard of this man. But, you know, whatever. And yeah, I haven't played the new God of War games. I only just recently got a PS5. So I haven't gotten the opportunity to play them, but I hear the new ones are great. The one from 2018, I think, and Ragnarok, I hear are both cool. It would be helpful to at least view the game. Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Like, and I would be very surprised if at least somebody on the whole production didn't have experience with the game. Like, if everyone between the cast and the crew, no one had played the game, I'd be very surprised by that. If they can't play the game, at least they should watch a playthrough. I agree. Yeah, why not? Those are fun. I don't care if they play the game as long as they know the exactly. Like, it's not really the actor's job to, and I'm sure a lot of actors do prepare by playing the game. I'm sure that happens all the time. But I also understand the viewpoint that some people take where they where they don't want to play the game because they don't want it to kind of color the way that they're going to do the role. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to almost make it their own. And if they have something else to compare it to, then they might feel sort of tempted to kind of try to copy that. And then you run the risk of having your performance feel just like an imitation of something, which in a sense, that's what it is because, you know, it's the character from the game. But I don't know. I'm not an actor, but I'm assuming that, you know, they just kind of want to have that degree of separation. But again, as long as like the writing is there, everything else should fall into place. You know, the production is also very important because, you know, the visuals are a big component of any video game. God of War, certainly no exception, you know, very visually striking. So as long as like the production and the makeup and the costuming, like things like that are very important. And I would say that there is you do need a degree of familiarity with the game, but that's like baseline shit. Like if you can't get that right, then, you know, you're in big trouble from day one. So yeah, and I haven't seen the Fallout show, but people really liked that. So Prime Video seems to have a good reputation at the moment, and yeah, hopefully hopefully the God of War show is good too. Let's see. Next up, we got Darren Aronofsky is being eyed to direct a Netflix's Cujo film based on the novel by Stephen King. I don't really like Darren Aronofsky that much, but granted, I've only seen Mother. That's the only movie of his that I've seen. I think. I'm going to check right now, actually. Make sure I'm not talking out of my ass. Yeah, I haven't seen Black Swan, haven't seen Requiem for a Dream, I haven't seen The Whale, and I haven't seen The Wrestler. Don't like Mother at all. I think that's like a very pretentious movie. I hear The Wrestler is good. This has Mickey Rourke in it, right? I've heard that's good. Yeah, I've heard Requiem for a Dream is just a fucked up movie that's going to make me sad and just kind of bum me out. I heard the same thing about The Whale, coincidentally. So just might not be a filmmaker for me. Yeah, it's like it seems like a weird hire because like all his movies are kind of like these sort of more. There don't seem to be tied to any IP or anything. So, but I wonder if they'll use CGI for Cujo. Yeah, I think if you do that, you lose a lot of people. I think the dog needs to be practical, like not practical, like a like a real dog. I mean, not like a like a yes, like a real dog. Yeah, that's what I've heard, and I've just never been in the mood to watch it. I do hear it's good though, but yeah, this seems like a weird pick to have him do Cujo. And I haven't seen the Cujo movie in a long time, but I remember that just kind of being like, you know, as far as the uh as far as Stephen King movies go, the original Cujo is like very middle of the road, I think. I've never heard of The Fountain. I'll have to check that out. What's up, man? How you doing, brother? Good to have you here. We're just talking about some movie news. Damn, my leg is asleep. Oh, that feels weird. Oh, fuck. Okay. What are people saying about this? Yeah. Not really going to get any interesting insights in the comments section of Twitter, unfortunately. Um, he had the rights to Life of Chuck. Who? Darren Aronofsky? Mike Flanagan's doing that. Wonder what do you mean by that? Anyway, we're gonna move on to the next headline here. This is the trailer for Together, new film from Neon, starring Alison Brie and Dave Franco. This just premiered at South by Southwest, if I'm not mistaken, and apparently it's really cool. I watched this trailer. Unbeknownst to me, I watched this trailer in theaters before it was made public online. I didn't necessarily want to, but I didn't know what the trailer was for. So before I knew it, I was already watching it. So I just said, fuck it. And it looks cool. I'm definitely not watching it again. So that by the time August 1st rolls around, hopefully it will mostly have left my mind. Interesting. I wonder why he didn't do it. I'm glad Flanagan's doing it, though, because from what I'm hearing, Life of Chuck is amazing and could even get some Oscar love, which would be so cool for a guy like Flanagan to to get that kind of like mainstream attention. That would make me really happy. So yeah, if you want to check out this trailer, it looks dope. Body horror seems to be back in a big way. Between this, Wolfman had a little bit of it. The Substance. So hopefully we get a new wave of body horror. That'd be sick, right? We got a teaser for The Toxic Avenger. I have not watched this, nor will I. The trailer, that is. I will be seeing the Toxic Avenger reboot. And I should probably try to see the original at some point as well, because I hear a lot of things about that movie. So, Hollow Notes, what's up, man? How you doing, brother? Yeah, if you're interested in some trailers, we got the trailer for Together. We got the trailer for Toxic Avenger. Here's something big. Yeah, I think I do need to finally check that one out. I've been hearing so much about it. It's very infamous. I work with a guy, excuse me. I work with a guy who loves Troma. He's always telling me about all the weird ass Troma movies that are out there. So here we have Warner Brothers is negotiating a big sale of this shelved Coyote versus Acme movie. If you're not aware, Warner Brothers has been doing this thing recently where they just make movies and then they don't release them. And they write them off as a tax write-off and they just shelve it. And these things never see the light of day. It happened with the Batgirl movie, most notably, that had fucking Michael Keaton back as Batman. It had Brendan Fraser as a villain, hot off like the success of The Whale. Like he was just won an Oscar, like the Renaissance, I think they were calling it. So yeah, like David Zaslav fucking sucks and should definitely stop being the CEO or whatever he is of Warner Brothers because he sucks and he's the one doing all this shit. But apparently, um, enough fan outcry has been heard, and they're looking to move this thing. Old Restless, you're probably right. You're probably right. But one, we'll never know. So that's always just going to be an assumption. And I hate the fact that there's just a movie out there that we'll never see. And it's kind of just anti-art. And it's unfair to all the people who work on these movies. Now, granted, I'm sure they were all paid and everything like that. So it's not like they're, getting screwed financially, I would assume. But it's just like anti-art, man. And it sucks. And, even if you didn't have confidence in it, why'd you do it to begin with? It's like if that's the case, then that just screams such incompetence and like ineptitude on behalf of these studios that like you're just greenlighting shit, and then I guess you start to see the dailies and you're like, oh, this is actually really bad. Like, shouldn't you have had some kind of inkling of like what this was going to be when you greenlit it? Like, it's just so strange to me the way some of these studios work. And I don't think you really see any other company doing shit like this where they're just shelving movies. Like, it's all Warner Brothers doing this shit. So if they finally do release this thing in theaters, I will definitely make sure that I go check it out and support it because that's what we got to do. You're right. Like, I got to put my money where my mouth is and support these things whenever they, whenever art wins, right? This was a dope storyline. I was very happy to hear this. So, wait, hold on. I think I have to do this one first. So, Leonardo DiCaprio and PTA's upcoming film, officially titled One Battle After Another, Warner Brothers has shifted its theatrical release date from September 26th of this year, I think. And it was previously scheduled for August 8th. So this is a bummer for PTA fans. But Zach Kreger's new film, Weapons, has slid into their release date, which is huge. I think this thing, Weapons wasn't supposed to release until next year. So now we're getting it this summer, which is fucking awesome. Described as a multi-story horror epic, tonally in the vein of Magnolia. I mean, what the fuck is even that? That sounds awesome. I'm so excited. Barbarian was amazing. One of my favorite movies of that year. Zach Kreger has the juice. I'm sure of it. And we're going to get Weapons this year. And then I'm pretty sure we're getting his Resident Evil next year. So, yeah, back-to-back Kreger movies. Sign me up. Cast is insane. Josh Brolin, Julia Garner, Alden Ehrenreich, Austin Abrams, and Benedict Wong. I haven't even seen Magnolia, and I'm down. Isn't Magnolia a PTA movie too? Ironically enough, I think it is. Yeah, I'm just so excited. I'm really glad we're getting this year. Yeah, this has potential, I think, to be one of my favorite movies of this year. So, this isn't really a story. This is just the first logo. Not even a poster. It's just a logo for this Mandalorian movie. Not really news. Figured I'd include it though. Yeah, we won't be watching. I might not. I don't know. I might have to, I like I said earlier, I might consider catching up on Mandalorian so that I can see this. Just because we haven't had a Star Wars movie in theaters since 2019, which is, it's been a while. So I think by the time this is actually playing, um, I'll probably feel like going to see it. You need to see Magnolia. No, that's the other Paul Anderson. Paul W. Anderson didn't do Magnolia, right? Yeah, yeah, PTA. He did Magnolia. Paul W. Anderson did did Resident Evil and Event Horizon and stuff. Very different filmmaker, but I kind of like Paul W. Anderson. Um, we got this new Sydney Sweeney movie coming out. Figured I'd include this. Star in and produce I Pretended to Be a Missing Girl, based on a Reddit short story that follows a drifter who impersonates a missing girl to rob a family only to realize she's made a terrible mistake. Interesting, I guess. Yeah, I mean, you know what, man? As cynical as I like to think I am about Star Wars, I think just because of how much I've loved the original trilogy growing up and even the prequels to a lesser degree, I think there will always be a tiny part of me who's willing to give certain Star Wars things a shot. I haven't watched any like I watched season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian, and that's it. I haven't seen anything else. I haven't watched. I probably should watch Andor because I hear Andor is actually good. Um, but I didn't watch The Acolyte. I didn't watch. God, what else even is there? Whatever it is, I didn't watch it. Like I'm kind of done. But I don't know, man. Something about Star Wars movie in a movie theater. Again, it's been since 2019. Like I kind of, and I will say on Disney's behalf, that was probably the way to go. Let people miss it again. I feel like everyone always says that about about IP, like big IP, like let enough time go by so that people miss it again. But I feel like people rarely actually like do that. Like studios rarely do that, and it start whether or not it was their plan. I mean, it might just come down to the fact that they couldn't get shit off the ground. God knows they've announced a million Star Wars movies, but we haven't gotten any of them. So whether it's ineptitude or actual strategy, it's probably good that they've. Yeah, all good, Jamie. They have very similar names. Paul W.S. is the sucky one. What's up, Steve? How you doing, man? We're just talking about some movie news. So yeah, it's weird. We're in the age of like things like Reddit stories and creepy pastas are like getting made into movies now. It's very interesting. So yeah, not much. We don't have like a trailer or anything for this, so but good for Sydney Sweeney, I guess. She's producing a lot, I feel like. Also, she's supposed to do a Barbarella movie, I think, at some point, which may or may not have been directed by Edgar Wright. I can't remember. All right, so this is the big kind of story of the night, I guess. So new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, very likely moving forward. The big things here are two names. We have J.T. Malner, who just wrote and directed Strange Darling, which was a pretty solid movie. I really enjoyed Strange Darling. I thought it was very, very good. Low budget thing, and they managed to do a lot with it. And it's structurally unorthodox the way that it's told, and it's a kind of thing that in a worse script could be written off as very gimmicky, but the way it's done in that movie, it's really, really it justifies its existence. So Strange Darling, super dope. Um, JT Molinar has goodwill with me after that. And then if JT Molinar can get a script together, word is that Glen Powell would like to read it for a possible starring and producing gig. Very early days on this, no contracts or attachments as of yet. So I'm on. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I'm down, man. I'm super down. And the idea of Glen Powell, someone as famous as him, attaching themselves to something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre could really give it some prestige, and it would absolutely go to theaters, unlike the awful one that went to Netflix from like 2022, I think. Movie fucking sucked. Not good at all, really bad. So I'm all in. And Glen Powell has that sort of Matthew McConaughey Texas charisma and aura to him, which would be super fitting, obviously, with McConaughey having been in TCM4. So yeah, I really hope that this actually happens. Again, it seems like it's very early days, and it's really it's little more than not necessarily a rumor, because it seems like all these things and all these names are legitimately confirmed as being interested. It's just a matter of whether it all pans out. So, and more Texas Chainsaw is always a good thing. I think that franchise has so many bad movies in it, so many bad ones, and very few good ones. And there's a lot of potential, I feel like, for more good TCM. So, hopefully we get that. You know what, man? I didn't like Twisters either, but I do enjoy Glen Powell. I do. He's also going to be in the Running Man movie, Edgar Wright's Running Man. But like, look, he's super good in Top Gun Maverick. I don't remember him in Dark Knight Rises. Anyone But You's not good. Twister's not that good. Hitman was fine. I really need to see Everybody Wants Some. People really seem to like that movie. So, now that I'm actually looking at it, not the best resume, which is odd. I thought he had done more, but like, what the fuck is Set It Up? Like, I've never even heard of that, and that's like his 7th most popular movie. I don't know. I'm excited for Running Man. I think that'll be sweet. And if he's never really seems to have done a horror film either, so I'm not willing to write him off until I see what he can do, and let's not act like Texas Chainsaw 4 is actually good. Matthew McConaughey is not enough to save that movie. Let's be real. So, he's what makes it memorable, among other things. But let's give him a chance. And with JT Molinar writing it, like, again, he's only done one thing, so I'm not ready to proclaim him as like a god or anything. But I really liked Strange Darling, so we'll have to see if he's like a one-hit wonder or not. He's an illusion. He's been pushed on us, so we think he's talented, but has had to prove himself. Yeah, I mean, I think his best movies are probably still ahead of him. I'll put it that way. Again, working with someone like Edgar Wright with a property like Running Man has potential to be sick. A lot of people liked Hitman from Richard Linklater. I didn't really like that. Nope. Hey guys, sorry about that. Uh, Looks like my internet cut out. Hopefully you guys are still here and you can hear me. My internet's been doing that recently. It's very annoying. It always seems to happen when I'm doing a live stream. So yeah, let me know if you guys are seeing me clearly. Anyway, Old Restless. I don't know where I cut off at for you guys. It seems like you just don't like people uh, who reach a certain level of fame. You seem to be critical of Pedro Pascal, Glen Powell as well. Not saying that that's the reason. I'm just saying that you might have a certain sort of disposition to these guys who seem to be like shoved down your throat, so to speak. Which I don't necessarily look. I mean, I don't like Twisters either. People liked it, that's fine. Tornado Rank, like they were doing that in the first one too. Yeah, it is hilarious, but that's kind of the problem. That's kind of the problem. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be hilarious. It should be scary. Yeah, Running Man could be cool. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting phenomenon, right? I don't look. I mean, I'm not. I'm not trying to oversimplify your take. Um, Not at all. Because I don't think it's without merit. Your take. I think your take is. There's something to it. But like he's taking on these interesting projects. Like he's got some upcoming stuff. The original Twister is where it's at. I agree. That one's a lot better. But Pedro Pascal, I don't hate on him at all. I think he's actually very talented, and he's doing a wide variety of things. But yeah, I understand what you mean though. Like, it's not the best comp, but like when Squid Game was coming out, everyone was like, "You gotta watch Squid Game. You gotta watch Squid Game." And anytime something like that happens, that makes me want to not watch Squid Game. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why. It's like the contrarian in me, right? And I feel like the same thing can be said of like certain celebrities. Like when they reach a certain level of fame, it's hard not to feel like they're being like. People are saying that about Pedro Pascal. People are like, "Oh, I'm tired of seeing him and everything," but it's like it's not really his fault that people want to hire him, And if the movie's good, the movie's good. That's just going to make me want to see you in things more. So if anything, I think Glen Powell has potential, and the fact that he's interested in doing Texas Chainsaw Massacre says a lot about him. I think because a lot of big celebrities. It might not be this way anymore, but I feel like a lot of big celebrities kind of look down on the horror genre. Definitely, I agree with this for sure. Pedro's much better than Powell, man. I agree. But the fact that Glen Powell's down to do Texas Chainsaw is cool to me. And I think that his involvement could make it, would elevate it. I mean, come on. Can we at least agree that the one from TCM, the one from 2022, the one that went straight to Netflix, is ass? Like, I have to imagine that with Glen Powell's involvement, it'll make it a lot better, right? Like, it's going to have some cachet to it. It's going to probably have a bigger budget, you know, better supporting cast, that kind of thing. Anyway, we've spent too long on this, so let's move on. We don't actually have a ton more to talk about tonight. Any Wes Anderson fans out there? We got some news that a trailer for his upcoming The Phoenician Scheme will be released next week, which is this is supposed to be like an espionage thing. So, Steve, I don't know if you were here in the show when we talked about it, but this is like a graphic of of Pedro Pascal's upcoming projects, and I don't know that he needs to be more selective. I don't think I agree with that because if I'm looking at this selection right here, and I need what is Freaky Tales? I don't know what that is. Is this a film? What the hell even is this? Mysterious force guides the town's underdogs, teens, Nazi skinheads. I don't know. This looks weird as shit. I have no idea what this is. But back to this. If I'm looking at this graphic, Last of Us season 1 was a banger. Okay, Celine Song Oscar nominee. Past Lives was incredible. I don't see any issue with wanting to work with her. And then strictly from just an acting standpoint, I think you know you can't really ask for much better as far as a job as an actor than to land a huge role like Reed Richards in not one, not two, not three, or excuse me, three big ass Marvel movies like that are all going to do very well, I'm assuming. Then you've got Ari Aster. Again, the fact that he wants to work with someone like Ari Aster and isn't just focused on taking these big paycheck jobs says a lot about him. He doesn't have to do that, but he wants to do that. So I don't know that I agree with the idea that he needs to be more selective. Yeah, Pedro seems like a straight up awesome dude as well, which makes me want to root for him. So anyway, yeah, well, I'm really hit or miss on Wes Anderson, so I'm not super excited for this, but maybe the trailer will change my mind. Austin Abrams is in talks to star in the new Resident Evil movie from Zach Kreger. I can't. This kid, I think he was in The Walking Dead briefly. I don't know what role he would be playing though. I think he's too young to play Leon, right? Yeah, I didn't really like the French Dispatch was okay, and Asteroid City I did not connect with at all. So, excuse me, guys. I'm drinking Dr. Pepper. I'm burping like crazy. Couple more things before we wrap for the night. I just thought this was an interesting little quote from John Leguizamo talking about Nolan's approach to the Odyssey. He said he's not doing it by committee. He's not doing it by what the studio says. He's like an indie filmmaker, but with crazy money. Steve says, I totally see your point. Let me rephrase that. He's picking excellent roles, but he's just taking an abundance of roles to the point where we might be jaded on seeing him in the next few years. Okay. Well, when you put it that way, I totally understand. I totally understand what you mean. And we're going to be seeing a lot of them over the next few years in big roles. Like we still haven't seen Fantastic Four, and then he's going to be in both of the subsequent Avengers films. He's got The Mandalorian and Grogu. Last of Us Season 2 comes out next month. So, but again, if he's doing projects that I don't like, and I think the movies are bad or the shows are bad, then yeah, I don't want to see him anymore. But if all the stuff that I like seeing him in is good, then obviously I want to see more. So I think it depends on, it's all subjective, right? It's all about your preference, but you can never have too much of a good thing, I guess. But anyway, back to this Odyssey quote. He's like an indie filmmaker, but with crazy money. I'm assuming that's what you're referring to, Old Restless. Yeah, he's got. Nolan can just kind of do whatever he wants. It seemed like Oppenheimer was the thing that kind of really kicked the door open, because I feel like Nolan could go to any studio in the world with any idea and they would bankroll it. Like, he's got that cachet after Oppenheimer. And the crazy thing is, like, if you had told me after The Dark Knight Rises that the Batman movies would be the peak of Nolan's career, I wouldn't be surprised by that. I wouldn't be like shocked if you told me that. But Nolan has come so far since the Batman movies, and he's absolutely, like, that is not his legacy. And I feel like it very easily could have been, but it's not going to be. Like, I don't know. I just think Nolan is he's one of a kind right now. Like, people like to lump him and like Tarantino together, where like their movies are like an event. But like Tarantino doesn't seem interested in making movies anymore. Like, he's only got one left apparently, and he's not in any rush whatsoever to make it. Whereas Nolan is like, let's work. Like, let's do this shit. Let's make movies. Like, it's just cool. We really don't have many people like him right now. So I think it's really awesome. That's all. Not really a story there. Just giving my thoughts on that. And then the last article of the night. This just happened last night, if I'm not mistaken. Bong Joon-ho asked John Carpenter to score his next movie, which is the horror film in a subway station in Seoul, I think. And Carpenter said yes, which is cool. Bong Joon-ho, John Carpenter collab. Super dope. I think it's interesting that he asks him like on this big stage. Like, what's he gonna do? Say no? You know what I mean? But and I don't know what the context is. I'm assuming this was some sort of film festival or something. Maybe Bong Joon-ho was talking about Mickey 17. But yeah, it's cool to see Carpenter. He seems to be done making movies, but he's still like doing scores, and I think he's still, maybe producing things. So it's always cool just to see him doing anything. And then obviously teaming up with someone like Bong Joon-ho, very interesting. So, yeah. All right, that's about it for the news, guys. As far as the channel goes, I will say, I'm working on this big video essay of mine. Ideally, I'll have that done, edited by Wednesday. If I really put my nose to the grindstone and really hammer it out, I think that'll be done probably Wednesday. I'm really eager to get it out, so I'm definitely going to be working hard on that the next 2 days. In the meantime, I do have a review of the movie Ash, starring Aaron Paul and Isa Gonzalez, which is in theaters right now. I'll probably have that out tonight or tomorrow morning. Just a quick little spoiler-free review of that movie. So look out for that if you're interested. And then March 31st, I have an interview that I'm doing with an author. I won't say who the author is yet, but very excited for that. So look for that like early April. I love doing like interviews. I think it's really cool just to be able to talk with someone whose work you really admire and just get to ask them questions. And it's even crazier that I've had the opportunity to do it not once but twice, because I absolutely have moments of like imposter syndrome where I'm like, why does this author want to talk to me? Or why does this producer want to talk to me? I'm definitely not interviewing Stephen King. You missed 99% of it, Eric. I'm about to sign off for the night. We just went over the week's worth of movie news and stuff, and now I'm just kind of talking about what's coming on the channel soon. So, yeah, big video essay coming soon. Review for Ash coming probably tomorrow, and then I have that interview with that author probably first week of April. So keep your eyes out for that, guys. And with all that being said, this has been the Dispatch, episode 10, big landmark for me. Been doing this for 10 weeks in a row. I'm trying to stay consistent, guys. And it seems like you guys enjoy this. Chat's been active. It's more fun to get to talk to you guys about this. That's why I don't do this in like a pre-recorded video or anything like that. For one, this is just easier for me because there's not a lot of like production. I don't have to edit anything. But it's cool getting you guys' feedback as well. So that's absolutely a factor. So, all right, guys. So that's been this week's episode. I'll see you guys next week. Look out for that review of Ash coming tomorrow. And yeah, take care and watch more movies.